Max, answer me.
The right ventricle's collapsed. She's gone.
It's 5599. I've got a heart for you.
We had already committed to the idea that Max was going to be captured at the end of the season, and it suddenly dawned on us, well, why not have her escape, but break everybody out? And we were going to, along the way, meet these specially purposed, genetically engineered soldiers, built to fight in the desert or underwater or whatever that might be. They were going to be out in the world, and the repercussions of that were going to be the thrust of the second season.
The idea was essentially that, in fact, there were earlier generations.
And he played the character of Alec.
He was kind of her Woody, stupid, crazy, smart alecky, chip on his shoulder sidekick.
When we started talking about creating a character like Alec, an X5 like Max, who could walk the streets because he looks perfectly normal, someone who was a rogue and sexy, a potential love interest, a potential rival to Logan, we all just, were thinking about Jensen, who played a very, very different character, a much darker character in the first season. But we knew he could play this too. And we decided, let's just deal with that confusion later on. And heck, why not? Why can't he be a genetic twin?
He had no problem robbing from people or pulling whatever scam he was doing.
Hey, he was a hustler, man. He had his hand in everybody's pockets, He was going, he was always making deals, he was on the move. Hey, check it out. Grandma's got herself a plasma screen TV.
We're not going to come back here and steal her TV.
Why not? He was always sort of foiling Max, who, at the very heart of it, she was looking to do things noble and that were good, and he was really out for number one.
I got to do a lot of physical acting and a lot of stunts, and I actually probably did 90% of it myself. I tried to. Stunt double hated me because you get to, had to get makeup, hair, wardrobe, and just sit on the sideline and watch me do it all. So that was really fun for me. I liked trying to do as much as I could.
Ames White joined season 2.
I'm there to decimate the entire, transgenic blight, that is, literally to wipe them from the face of the earth. When transgenic shows up with Ames White, he's like a red shirt on Star Trek, right? He's a dead man, it's over.
What you began to learn about White as the season went on was that, in fact, he was a much more complicated character, that he had I guess you might call it a religious or spiritual background that made his feelings for the transgenics, his distaste for them, very, very personal.
Martin's great. He's one of those actors who you don't see it coming. All of a sudden the camera gets going and it starts rolling and he just switches into this total character. You don't even see it coming.
He's a really serious character. His character in the show is very dark and edgy and brooding, and you finish a take and you go, how is that? Was that okay?
I had a really good time working with Martin. I wish I got to work with him more, but storylines.
He comes prepared, ready to go, and I thought he really brought a lot to the table.
What is it you're meant to be, besides ugly? I'm talking to you.
British Eddie and his gang were known as Steelheads, and he was this kind of like John Lydon, Sex Pistols, snotty punk criminal.
They were like humans that were trying to engineer themselves to be greater than what they were.
We ended up having this incredible comedic rapport, just when we, getting makeup on and joking around, waiting for scenes to happen.
You twits!
Dark Angels was not a comedy. Certainly these episodes were full of comedy whenever we were on screen, so I was really grateful to be a part of that.
Ashley Scott joined season 2 as Asha, who was another freedom fighter. She's there to work hand in hand with Eyes Only.
When I first got on the show, I'm like, oh my gosh, this girl's gonna hate me. And this, new girl that just walks on the show, that is being
Logan, if they touch.
The virus is targeted specifically for Logan's DNA, and I carry the virus. So if we come into any physical contact, he gets this virus and he dies within 24 hours.
The fascinating thing with Dark Angel is because it was in the future of this post-apocalyptic world. When it came to lighting, there were really no rules because we were living in a world where everybody was piecing together whatever they could salvage to make life work for them. It just gave me all kinds of freedom. Season 2 allowed me to get a little darker in that some of the new transgenic characters were very dark. So that allowed me to take it even further into a darkness that you seldom get away with in television.
I sat down with Dave while I was in prep on my first show, and I said, listen,
Background and action.
Yeah, throughout the first 2 years, there was all these rumors, hey, Cameron's coming up and he's going to do one, and finally it happened.
Our director for the season finale fell out, and so we were kind of left with a hole in our directing slot, and I had sort of wanted to find a place to direct an episode somewhere along the way, and that seemed like a natural, because you want to go out at the end of the season with a bang. We had a pretty good story planned, and so I said, okay, sign me up. I'll do it. I'll be a good producer, and I'll take care of my show. I'll jump into the breach and take care of business.
That means you can't be locked to him. All right, so
he's phenomenal. He's hands-on with everything.
He was really eager to, grab the camera himself and put it on his shoulder and get in there and do it.
When it says Jim Cameron directs, that doesn't mean he's like via satellite from Los Angeles sitting in his armchair like, go back to the medium 2 shot. He's spray painting the flag, and he's telling the extra where to have their eye line and how to hold their gun, and he's a very hands-on, meticulous perfectionist director.
I get wounded in this episode, and he actually came up, grabbed the blood, and did it himself. He's like, come on, what is this? This is Saturday morning blood? Let's get some in there, and he starts throwing it on there.
I'm trying to think now. He did say there was something that he wasn't very good at. Pushing the dolly. I think that was the one element of filmmaking that he hadn't gotten down yet.
Pretty quickly, you realize that Jim was not slowing down for anybody. He was driven to get to the end and do things the way he wanted to do them, and it really wasn't a time to be faltering much. It was a time to try and get in his wake and just keep on.
This was about getting it done, just gun and run, guerrilla style, take no prisoners, very few takes, lots of setups a day. We were boarded for 5-6 pages a day, which is nuts. I would normally shoot half that on a feature. The crew were ready to go. I mean, even though they'd come off 9 months of really hard shooting, they were ready to charge. They wanted to show me their very best, and we did 116 setups in one day, which is gonzo. It's like that's out of control. So we were having fun. The network wanted to do something special. The studio wanted to do something special. So this character Thula seemed to be a good opportunity. So I said, well, let's look at some of the WWF stars, some of the female stars, because let's pit.
First day when Fox actually announced live in New York, they announced that Dark Angel had not been picked up.
They have their reasons. It was a big disappointment for everybody.
And I was sorry that it didn't come back for a 3rd season. I think there were some good ideas and a good plan for what the 3rd season would have been.
The ending of the series was appropriate in the fact that James Cameron got to put his stamp on it. I do think there was a lot left to be told from this, from the story he created. Both James Cameron and Chick Egley created very memorable characters. You really cared about these characters. You wanted to see them succeed. You wanted to see them be accepted.
I think there was a feeling in that image of the flag being raised. It was a very hopeful and sort of inclusive, and that image was pretty searing and comes close to summing it all up and taking the sting out of the fact that we didn't get to continue.
I loved working on Dark Angel. I really liked all those people on that show. I liked the cast on that show. It was actually one of the best television experiences I ever had.
Working on Dark Angel was a real joy because the cast, the crew, it was like working with your best friends. It was like having a second family.
It was a great experience. I'm glad I got to be involved in it.
Alec, what have you done?